sleeping by day and he's stalking by night. He's a night stalker, yeah, 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 yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JBuck Studios, your home for reviews, reactions, and of course, ridiculousness. Of course, again, we're jumping over to Netflix because that's pretty much the only thing that's coming out, and it's a new docuseries limited one called Night Stalker. Beneath the sunlit glamour of 1985 LA lurks a relentlessly evil serial killer. In this true crime story, two detectives won't rest until they catch him. So is this new Night Stalker look into this infamous serial killer in the 80s a must-see? Let's find out. But before I get into my thoughts, let me know what you thought of Night Stalker. If you've already seen this one, know the true story already, or very much looking forward to it. Now let's get into some of the good. Night Stalker, this limited series, The Night Stalker, The Hunt for a Serial Killer, I believe it's the full title. I was pleasantly surprised by this. You know, I'm a fan of this true crime, a wave, essentially, of these true crime docuseries, movies, limited series, all of that. And this Night Stalker one was one that was happening in the 80s in LA, honestly, causing such a stir. And the way that they had all of the information laid out of painting the picture, perfectly portraying the timeline, and really referring back to that timeline of all of these kills, the way the police were handling everything, and the way they were moving from LA to San Francisco back to LA, I thought was perfectly done. To every time you maybe were a little bit confused, it was like, no, this is where we're at, this is where the killer's at, and this is how the police are reacting to it. So I thought that the way that they structured everything, and the way that they perfectly kind of guided you through this timeline of this Night Stalker killer was so well done. And the thing is, I loved the focus. The focus of this, it didn't really glamorize this Night Stalker killer like some of these other documentaries out there, where it very much focuses on the killer, who they are, and really blows them out of proportion, essentially, making them larger than life. And the way that they really structured this one is it focused on the victims, the families of the victims, but also the police officers, the detectives, and the law enforcement that was involved in this. I thought was a nice touch, because it is taking away sort of power from this Night Stalker character, but really going into the mind and how the police and the victims really reacted to these kills, and essentially, like, how the hell do we find this Night Stalker character? So I really liked kind of the insight into the two detectives, the kind of main ones. I believe it was Vil Carrillo and Frank Salandro, I believe it is. They were kind of the two main detectives, the veteran ones, one that really came into his own. And that's the thing, is this, when it focused on Gil, it focused on, or kind of told the story of how he was this kid and grew up and went into the military and had these goals and then became a detective. So I really almost liked it how it showcased this guy through his career and eventually finding this Night Stalker character, but also it showed the insight into their family and how this Night Stalker and the determination of these detectives and law enforcement really put a rift through those family bonds of essentially these detectives were doing this work 24/7. So the way it was focused, again, the perspective, the information, the firsthand accounts from these detectives and law enforcement, but also the way that everything played out, like the events of this honestly are like a movie. Like, they are at a position, staking it out for days and days and days, and then literally the day they don't do it, the person shows up, or they just missed him, or they almost bump into him, essentially like renting a car or something along those lines. So the way that this was, again, structured realistically was made for such an entertaining kind of like cat and mouse serial killer hunt. I mean, even people glamorizing this Night Stalker feels very much like a movie of like going to the court cases, dressed up, sending him pictures and everything. Like, it's weird of like, was this the first time that a killer like this was glamorized for many people? As for the cons or negatives, I mean, I don't know if I really have too many. I really enjoyed this 4-episode limited series. If anything, maybe they could condense it down to 3 episodes, focus on kind of the detectives, the police work in the investigation, and then the killer or the Night Stalker in the 3rd episode. The way it was structured, though, I thought it was perfectly fine. Again, if you are looking for it to essentially focus or glamorize or have the perspective of the Night Stalker killer, you might want to stay away from it, because again, it is focusing on the law enforcement, the way everything laid out, and kind of the victims and how they have had to really deal with the essentially aftermath of everything. Overall, Night Stalker is a fascinating look into this string of murders in LA, San Francisco in the 80s. With it again perfectly laying out the timeline of all of these events, first-hand accounts from people that worked on the investigation, victim testimonies, and not really glamorizing the killer, but maybe with a few nitpicks here or there. I would recommend checking out the Night Stalker. This one is a fantastic docuseries to start 2021 on Netflix. I mean, I love a good limited series of a serial killer, true crime essentially. So if you're any fan of that material, definitely check out this Night Stalker coming to Netflix. In closing, I'm going to give Night Stalker: The Hunt for a Serial Killer 4 out of 5 serial killers. So what did you all think of Night Stalker? If you've already seen this one, looking forward to it, know the true life aspects of this, but want to see this condensed limited series, I want to know in the comments down below. Anyways, though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there or right over there. You know, brand new content every single week here on the JBuck Studios channel. I have a few more reviews coming this week, and then this weekend, Friday, WandaVision, I'm going to be doing a couple videos on that, so stay tuned for everything. It is cold, my nipples are popping. Follow all of my social media down there, especially TikTok. I'm doing some fun things over there. Like this video, subscribe to the JBuck Studios channel, and until next time, we'll see you later.